8 Ways President Donald Trump Will Make History. Donald Trump is guaranteed to make history as the 45th President of the United States. And whether you love or loathe him, it's a fact that the Republican will set a range of records as soon as he occupies the Oval Office. From his age to his bank balance, via his notable lack of pets, here are just some of the Donald's historic firsts. 1. Oldest incoming president. Donald Trump celebrated his 70th birthday on 14th of June, which makes him the oldest man in U.S. history to assume the presidency. The previous record holder, Ronald Reagan, was 69 when he took office in 1981. Perhaps keen to allay fears about his senior status, the business mogul had his doctor prepare a gushing letter pledging that he would be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. The average age of all 44 previous incoming presidents is a sprightly 55. The youngest ever incumbent, Theodore Roosevelt, got the job aged 42 years and 322 days, after President William McKinley's assassination in 1901. 2. The first billionaire president. Mr. Trump is the first billionaire president. Exact estimates of his personal wealth vary, with Forbes putting it at $3.7 billion, £3 billion, and the man himself claiming in a statement that it's in excess of $10 billion. Many of America's past presidents have also been extremely wealthy, of course. Recent estimates say George Washington's estate would be worth $500 million in today's dollars. Before his 1963 assassination, JFK reportedly lived off a $10 million trust fund thanks to the vast wealth of his father, investor and alleged bootlegger Joseph P. Kennedy, Sr. Mr. Trump will be following in the footsteps of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger by taking just a symbolic dollar as a salary. 3. The richest cabinet. When Mr. Trump began unveiling his cabinet picks, the number with fat wallets quickly drew the scorn of Democrats. Donald Trump's administration, by and for the millionaires and billionaires, tweeted Vermont Senator and Democrat presidential contender Bernie Sanders. For better or worse, this will be the wealthiest administration in modern American history. 4. Least experienced politically. Mr. Trump's triumph is also significant because, until now, no one has been elected president in more than 60 years without experience as a state governor or in Congress. The last president with no political experience, Dwight Eisenhower, was Supreme Commander of Allied forces in World War II, before he was elected to office in 1953. Before that, Herbert Hoover, who was president from 1929 to 1933, was previously an engineer and humanitarian. But as Mr. Trump tells it, his lack of links to the Washington establishment is an asset not a flaw, and more than made up for by his experience as a dealmaker. 5. Most powerful children. Mr. Trump has named his son-in-law, real estate developer Jared Kushner, as a senior advisor, prompting cries of nepotism from opponents. Some claim the appointment makes the 36-year-old the most powerful presidential son-in-law in U.S. history. 6. Fewest White House pets. So much fuss has been made of what Donald Trump owns that you might have missed one glaring absence, a pet. It looks likely that he'll be the first U.S. president in over a century not to have an animal pal in the White House, after plans to have him adopt a golden doodle dog reportedly fell through. According to the Presidential Pet Museum, almost every commander-in-chief has had a pet, and some had a virtual menagerie. John F. Kennedy stands out for owning a veritable Noah's Ark, everything from a rabbit named Jaja to a canary called Robin, but the crown belongs to Calvin and Grace Coolidge, White House occupants from 1923 to 1929. Who the museum says quite literally had a zoo. Their animal companions included at least a dozen dogs, a donkey named Ebenezer, and various creatures presented as gifts by foreign dignitaries, among them lion cubs, a wallaby, a pygmy hippo named Billy, and a black bear. 7. Most adamantly anti-free trade. Donald Trump won the presidency on a pro-job platform, and has blamed free trade policies for the collapse of the U.S. manufacturing industry. This is a rare stance for a U.S. president, probably last seen in his fellow Republican Herbert Hoover in the 1930s. In September 2015, Mr. Trump told The Economist China is killing us, and that millions of Americans are tired of being ripped off. He said that as president, he would consider a 12% import tax to make the Chinese stop playing games. During his election campaign, Mr. Trump also threatened to rip up NAFTA, the free trade agreement between Canada, the U.S. and Mexico, which has been in place for 23 years. He also vowed that the U.S. would quit the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal, a 12-nation agreement, on his first day in the White House. 8. The First Lady's firsts. Former model Melania Trump is as trailblazing as her husband. She will be the first presidential spouse from Slovenia, and the first non-native English speaker. She is only the second FLOTUS born outside the U.S., though, the first being Louisa Adams, wife of the sixth U.S. President, John Quincy Adams, 1825–1829, who was born in London. As Mr. Trump has been married twice before, Melania will also be the first third wife to reside in the White House. The only other U.S. president to have divorced was Ronald Reagan, who split from his first wife, actress Jane Wyman, long before leading the nation. Melania speaks Slovenian, English, French, German, and Serbian, and may be the most competent linguist to hold the role of FLOTUS. She is the first president's wife to have posed nude for GQ magazine in 2000 among others.